a beautiful world. This world is, and I thank you for all that's written.
Sylvia, I heard you were trying to reach me.
You're changing me.
I'll call you.
Opening my
Hi, Tanya.
blinded eyes to see.
I can't hear you so well. What'd you say?
My glorious
Sylvia was trying to reach me.
Maybe it's true. Some folks can't see.
Welcome, everybody. If you're just coming in, listening to Ricky Byers singing I Thank You.
The proof that a beautiful world, this world is what I thank you for showing the way and setting them free, opening their time blinded eyes to see a wonderful reality. Oh, and I
welcome again. That was Ricky Byers singing I Thank You, which was the first song that Ricky and Reverend Michael ever wrote so many years ago. Still a magnificent, beautiful song today. Welcome to you. I am Rev Greta Sesheta. This is the Sanctuary of the Spirit. It's part of the 7-Pointed Star Ministries, and we're here every Sunday morning at 9 a.m., God willing, on Zoom and Facebook and YouTube. And the services are archived on Facebook for 1 month and on YouTube forever, so you can see all of the services. Whenever you miss one or you want to review, they're right there for you. I am right here with you, and I'm delighted to be so. I'd like to welcome us into a moment of stillness and silence, a chance to connect and to recenter ourselves, to anchor ourselves in the earth and extend ourselves to the heavens and know that we are the place where heaven and earth meet, where the Spirit of God is revealing itself. As we move into just a moment of prayer, a moment of thanksgiving, a moment of deep gratitude, a moment of recognizing one power and presence that is God, that is good, that is everywhere, that is all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-loving, created everything out of itself, which includes each and every one here gathered. So we recognize our union, our connection, our resonance, our alignment, our attunement to this one power and presence. And it is high, and we cannot attain to it with our mind, but the Spirit of God is more than this. And there is a connection that cannot be denied. There is a resonance, there is a reflection, there is an intonement with all that is good. And from this purview, we see that all things are unfolding perfectly, rightly, and well, everywhere, always, without exception, no matter the appearance or the circumstances. God is always being God, and God is only being good. And God has created us in its spiritual image and likeness, and out of its very essence, for a divine and perfect purpose, each one of us. And our purpose right now this morning is to be here together, gathered in the word of truth, gathered in the way of life, in alignment with the will of God. And so we know that all things that we do this morning are to the glory of God, and we don't have to do anything but just let it be so. And so this word affirms that we are letting it be so. We are blessing one another, and as each of us is lifted, we are all lifted. We give thanks that this is so. We give praise and thanksgiving that this is true, and we let it be. And so it is. Amen. Ah, that feels wonderful. I didn't know this morning. I had a feeling that maybe something was wrong, maybe something was out of place, maybe things weren't really happening for the highest good. And I just took myself in hand and in heart and remembered the truth that I know, that all is truly well, and that we really are here just for God. And there's so many things that are always going on, and they continue. And you know, we still have to stand for God, stand for righteousness, stand for something that is good. And we still have to stand against anything that is not that, not even bless it with our attention. All these things going on, and 4 days from now is Thanksgiving. It's like the real beginning of the holiday season. And these holidays all have some things in common. There's something about Thanksgiving, which is just a day to remember to be grateful and thankful, even in the midst of everything that is going on. And I know some of us are coming into this Thanksgiving season with mixed feelings. And we are looking forward to a holiday that, the more times you go around the sun, the more Thanksgivings you have experienced. And it becomes like a memory thing. There's lots of Thanksgiving. I mean, there's one I'll never forget back when my father would cook the turkey. He'd do the turkey and the fruitcake. Those are the two things that he cooked. And one time he made the dressing, the special dressing for the turkey. And it was so hard that we could not get it out of the turkey to eat it. I mean, we had to chisel it. I was just a little girl, but I've never forgotten that. I know that there are some Thanksgivings that maybe stand out for you like that. Or in this Thanksgiving that's coming up, there will be an empty chair that somebody was here last Thanksgiving that's not here this time. Or there are Thanksgivings that you remember even long ago when there was a person present who is not present this time. And so I just thought we would take a look at that, because it's something that sometimes we don't want to look at and we don't want to talk about, or we feel like we have feelings like we have to get over it or have to make sure everybody else is okay when we're not feeling totally what we would think of as being into the holiday. So Thanksgiving is like the ultimate potluck. And the idea of a potluck, long ago when people were traveling from place to place and they didn't know where they were going to be able to end up or where they were going to stay, and they would come to someone's house that they know unexpectedly, and there was hospitality and people were welcomed, and they didn't know what was in the pot, but whatever was in there would be shared. And so it was like called a potluck, because if you're lucky, it was a delicious food that could be served, and if you were not so lucky, maybe there was just potato chips to share. I don't know. But in the modern time, the potluck, the idea is everybody brings something. And we don't really know always what people are going to bring, but it always ends up perfect. In some way, it's perfect. That there's a sufficient amount and quality of everything, mostly because everybody has contributed and we're together. And so this idea of everybody bringing something, we all bring something, and we all bring who we are to the celebration. And who we are is really enough, and it's sufficient. And no matter how it is that we are feeling, as we come, we bring our presence to add to the presence, to add to the energy of this time of giving thanks. Mostly thanks for being together. So last week the topic was mind your mind and mind the moment. Dig into the moment to see what it is that is really there. And we talked about the idea of non-duality, of being able to take two things that seem to be opposite and be able to hold both of them as being part of the whole. And so at Thanksgiving, there could be the feeling of, well, the table feels empty, but we're surrounded, the room is filled with love. I'm missing this person, and I'm carrying them with me. I'm hurting, and I'm healing. My heart is broken, and I'm whole. And the scripture says that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted, meaning that even when our heart is broken, we're not alone. We've not been abandoned. There is a power and a presence that is with us, that is carrying us through this time of feeling these opposite things happening. That it's a time for giving thanks, but how can we give thanks when there's something that we're grieving that we've lost? And we've all lost something. We've lost people that we love. We've lost our health. We've lost our security. We've lost some relationship. We've lost our health care. There is this ebb and flow of life where these things are part of the wholeness that life is. There's a way of looking at it and of holding it. And one of those ways is Thanksgiving. I want to share a writing this morning by one of my friends, Reverend Nora Jean Hagan, Reverend Jean to most of us. And it's a beautiful piece, and I let her know that I wanted to share it this morning. It's called Thanksgiving Blesses and It Multiplies. So Reverend Jean writes, Thanksgiving is more than a day. It's a way of seeing life. It's a way of living life. When we give thanks, our hearts open, our spirits lift, and the blessings around us begin to shine even brighter. When Thanksgiving becomes ingrained in us, our lives expand, and we attract more blessings into our lives. Gratitude transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. It reminds us that even in simple things, a kind word, a shared meal, a quiet moment of peace, there is abundance waiting to be recognized. When we remember that events and circumstances are congealed into when we remember that events and circumstances are congealed thoughts and beliefs that have manifested in our outer world, we don't allow those events and circumstances to have control over our emotions or our consciousness. And when we give thanks, we create room for more good to get in. Because Thanksgiving blesses and multiplies. Every word of gratitude, every act of kindness, every gesture of love sends ripples of blessings into the world and back again. When we give thanks in everything, we allow our awareness to go beyond the events and the circumstances to see the divine order that is behind everything that exists. We remember that we are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual law. We know that the spiritual laws governing this universe are the same spiritual laws governing our individual lives. We know that we can trust that everything is unfolding for our good. May this season remind us that gratitude is not the end of giving. It is the beginning of more. More joy, more peace, more connection, more grace. Invite more joy, more peace, more connection and grace, and definitely more love into your life through your grateful and thankful heart. Jean Hagan. And so there is this moment in time for us, a time for expressing gratitude, a time for expressing gratitude in everything, not for everything. There are some things we can't bring ourselves to be thankful for, but in those circumstances, we can be in thanksgiving. We can be in gratitude, not just for the wonderful things that are happening that we love to be a part of, but in all things that are happening, to be grateful, because in all of the things that are happening, there is so much more that is of good, that is surrounding, that is holding, that is embracing all of the circumstances. And the more I can remember that and connect with that idea, the more I begin to feel the effect of the gratitude for the good things overshadowing or softening or smoothing out the places that seem so difficult. That is the power of gratitude, and that is why it is even more important for us to remember this in especially the holidays, when people are getting together and there's this feeling like, oh, I don't want them to be sad. I don't want them to feel that way. I want them to be all right. I want them to, to see that they can get through this. That feeling that sometimes we have is equal to the feeling that we have when we're the ones with the sadness and we're trying to put on a happy face and we're trying to keep a stiff upper lip. We're trying to get over it, and all of those things that deny our feelings and deny our awareness that we are never alone, that we are always supported, that we are always loved, embraced, and inspired. This is the truth of our being, that there's an opportunity to be in gratitude even as we're grieving, even as we are experiencing some loss or some disappointment, to be grateful for a heart that can feel as it feels, that can express as it expresses. So last week I shared that I had written a series of books, and the first one that came out like 2 years ago was about this little giraffe that was afraid of heights. And how interesting it is for me that when I'm writing children's books that I'm saying similar things in a way that a child can understand it. But we know that the master teacher said that we had to become as children if we want to be able to enter into the kingdom of heaven. If we want to be able to really understand truth, we have to have a childlike innocence and a childlike wonder. So anyway, I wrote the book about Corky, and I thought that was the end of it. And then these other books just appeared. And so the second one that came was about a little elephant named Isani. And Corky lived in Africa, and Isani lives somewhere, I believe, in India. And I wrote all of the books in English and Spanish because there's so many people that speak Spanish, and I wanted them to be able to share the stories as well. But anyway, the story about Isani the elephant is that, elephants never forget. But the only thing is that Isani had a wonderful cousin who was her best friend. They played together all the time. And a terrible thing happened when some hyenas came and tried to hurt the young elephants. I started to say the children. And so Isani's cousin, she passed. And it was such a sad thing for Isani. And, she always heard all her life, elephant never forgets. And she didn't want to remember that. It was so sad. She did not want to remember the things that happened. And, she just became withdrawn, and she didn't want to play. She didn't want to eat. She had a very wise mother that took her to see a wise old owl. In these books, there's a wise old owl, sometimes a female, sometimes a male. This one, I think, was a female, but this wise old owl spoke to Isani and helped her to understand how to hold her feeling, how to hold her sense of loss and her sadness, and how to not be afraid of remembering something. That an elephant never forgets, but an elephant can choose what they want to remember. Even as we can choose the thoughts that we want to hold onto. Or we can move into that place of non-dualistic thinking where we can hold two opposing things at the same time and know the truth of the whole thing. And so when Isani started to cry, when she was talking to the owl, and she started to cry, and the owl didn't say, "Oh, don't cry, don't be upset, it'll be okay, you'll be all right." She just said, sometimes the clouds become so full of rain that they simply need to let their drops fall. And sometimes our hearts are like that too, so full of sadness that we need to let our tears fall. And that's okay. Just like the rain makes the flowers grow and the grass green, letting our feelings out helps our hearts to heal. She was teaching Isani how to help her heart to heal, even as she was experiencing this deep sadness. She was helping her to learn how to grieve, how to mourn. And of course, the Beatitudes tell us, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted." They shall be comforted. It's almost as if there's a blessing in the mourning. There's a blessing in knowing that even though I'm going through these hard times, there's something that is carrying me. I'm not saying it's not hard, but I'm saying that I feel supported, and I trust that I'm supported, and I trust that I'm healing, that my heart is healing even now. And so as we are preparing for Thanksgiving, and however you decide to celebrate it, if you are going to be with a group of people, or if you're feeling like you want to be in the quiet with yourself, it's all perfect if that is the way that your heart is directing you. You're not asked to put on a happy face when you're going through something. You can be with what you're going through, whatever it is, and we all go through stuff. It just happens in this lifetime. And as hard as it is to believe, the things that we go through are the very things that are strengthening us, that are encouraging us, that can be inspiring us when we're realizing that there's only good. There's no mixture of good in our good. We're here for the good. And we talked about this before with the 12 gates. There's no mixture. It's all for the highest, which can be a bit beyond what we know in a dualistic way about this is good and that's bad. And a non-dualistic approach sees that experiences happen, and they happen in the embrace of the divine. They happen and we're guided. They happen and we're protected. We're directed. Always, always, always. We've never been abandoned. The Spirit of God, which is everywhere, is most especially within us. And we get to give thanks for that. We get to be grateful for the presence of God within. There is a difference in as we grow from childhood to adulthood, we learn certain things and we grow in certain ways. But sometimes along the way of growing through these different stages, depending on the people that we have to guide us and support us, and the connection that we have to the Spirit that is always guiding and supporting us, that we can learn, we can forget things. We can forget how to really feel and accept when there is sadness or when there is loss. And so we learn along the way to try to be strong, be strong instead of expressing our vulnerability when things happen. We learn to apologize for our tears. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cry. Like, those tears have a right to their expression. We learn to try to rush through the healing so that other people can feel better. we learn to compare our grief to somebody else's or our process. Oh, their situation is even worse than mine. I should get over this in a hurry. That happened so long ago. I need to be okay now. I need to, live my life. Well, living our life includes having our feelings, honoring them and respecting them, blessing them, and even giving thanks for them. We learn to distract ourselves so we won't think about things. Like little Isani. She didn't try not to think about what she wanted to forget. She learned to think about the things she wanted to remember. And there are so many things about losing something that we want to remember. They have to do with our deep realization that we're carried, that we're cared about, that we're lifted, and that it matters. It's about having compassion for ourselves and what we're going through. And having the awareness that we can be grateful for who we are, and that we're going through what we're going through in the way that we have decided to do it. Keeping our attention on what is true. Even in the dark times, the sun is shining somewhere. And we get to choose to make it shine, to let it shine, to allow it to shine right where we are. So the wise old owl tells Asani, she says, just like a butterfly chooses the brightest flowers, you can choose which memories to hold close. So she couldn't choose not to remember, but she could choose what she was going to remember. And so it is with this Thanksgiving that we get to choose. We were talking last week about excavating, about mining. Are we mining for the gold, or are we mining for the garbage? Are we mining for the pitiful stuff, or are we mining for the beauty, mining for the joy? A choice that we get to make. What it is that we want to carry forward, where we want to live. So in this table that's prepared before us, in the presence of our enemies, and our enemies are the thoughts that we have that are not in alignment with truth, we can allow ourselves to be anointed. We can allow ourselves to be blessed and to know that our cup is running over, overflowing with blessings, with love, with light. And we can remember how grateful we are for the times that we've had, and how grateful we are for the time that we have. How grateful we are for the love that was there, and how grateful we are for the love that is here. How grateful we are that we can feel grief, because the grief means that we love so much. How grateful we are for the empty chair, because it reminds us of how beautifully and magnificently someone filled it before. So one of the things that little Isani says, she says, I remember my cousin. I remember everything beautiful. We're not denying the sad. We're not denying the loss. We're not denying the hurt. We are remembering and we are blessing that which is beautiful, that which is whole, that which is perfect and complete, which really is this life that we are living. My suggestion going forward into this time of holidays is to give thanks for who you are, to remember the blessings of this lifetime, to remember the love that you are missing, and remember the love that is right here where you are. You can say, I feel sad and I feel held. I miss them or I miss that. And I carry them or I carry that with me. I'm hurting and I'm healing. The table feels empty and I'm surrounded by love. I'm brokenhearted and I am whole. Perfect and complete. Exactly as I am. And so we give thanks for this day and this life, for this way of life, for this opportunity to let our heart break open, if that's what it's called to do. That's how the love gets in, through that opening. That's how the light shines brightest, as we turn to that within us that is vulnerable, that is precious, that is sensitive, that is loved, that is priceless. As we align ourselves with the all in, all as all, that is the all good of God. As we remember that we are created in the spiritual image and likeness and out of the very essence of God. We're here as instruments, as avenues, as receptacles. We're here as places and spaces for the Spirit of God to reveal itself in all of its glory, in its majesty, in its beauty, in its wholeness, in its sensitivity, in its uniqueness. Each one of us, like a snowflake, not one exactly like another. Each one here with special gifts to give and to receive. We give thanks for the opportunity to open our hearts and to receive the blessings that have already been given. We give thanks for the opportunity to direct the flow of love and light, to welcome it into us and to allow it to flow out of us into the all in all. And know that the blessing that we send out comes back to us multiplied. We thank God for this. We thank God that we don't have to figure it all out. We don't have to make it all work. There is an intelligence that is divine that knows exactly what we need and is already giving it, providing it. There's that within us that is willing to open and accept and receive and just say, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this life. Thank you for this way of life. Thank you for this day and this moment and this breath, for this heartbeat. Thank you for this realization that I am the beloved of God and that all is well. Even in the face of things that don't look the way I would choose to have them look. There's something higher that's unfolding that's beyond my way of knowing. And it is good, and it is high, and it is holy. And so we give thanks. Even as we bless ourselves, whatever we're going through, even as we bless those that we care about who are going through things, even as we bless our country and our continent and our planet, as we're going through things, something magnificent is happening and we know it. And we accept it. And we let it be so. And so we say, and so it is. Amen. I hope that there was something that was encouraging for you, that was empowering for you, that was inspiring in some way. And this is a virtual ministry. It's an online ministry. And there is a connection. There is a connection of people just like you who love God and who are here for the presence. And we can reach out to one another. You can, in the chat box, in the comment box, you can ask for prayer, or you can offer your prayers, or you can give thanks for your blessings. You can ask a question, and I will try to answer, or someone else may try to answer. You can ask for prayers. You can make a prayer request, and I will pray. And other people may pray who see your request. We really are in this together, not like sitting in a pew with other people that you may know or not know. But there's something about in this virtual space of coming out, making the effort to be together, to be with like-minded people. And that's who we are. So I welcome your prayer request. If you would like to put it in the chat or the comment box. If you want to email me at revgreta@me.com, let me know how I can be of service to you. I want to thank you for joining today, for being a part of this community, and if you feel called to make a donation or a contribution, if you're able to at this time, it is most appreciated to support the ministry, to support it continuing in just this way. And there are many of you that have, and many of you that do, and I'm grateful and thankful for your generosity and for your support. I'm grateful and thankful that you do as you can and as you're called to do in terms of supporting the ministry. And there are other ways, of course, to support it, like sharing it or talking about it. Thank you for all that you do. I'm grateful. I think you have your assignment for the week. It's maybe something that I said sparked an idea of a way that you can move forward, or a way that you can show up, or a way that you can be present with yourself and your own feelings. And by the same token, if it feels like in your life everything is coming up roses and there is no sense of otherness or sadness or disconnect, be grateful, be thankful. No need to be ashamed or try to hide it because other people are going through their things. Wherever you are is the perfect place and the perfect thing to be. And so again, I thank you. I hope you have a beautiful holiday, a wonderful potluck, and that you are true to yourself and that it feels good to you. I will look forward to seeing you next Sunday. I think Friday is supposed to be a Good Friday, and I have a piece that always comes up on Friday, Good Friday, and I kind of just keep working on it. I think I'm going to share it sometime Friday. Maybe you'll see me coming live on your screen just sharing this piece for us. And that's it for now. Thank you so much. I love you so much. I appreciate you so much. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.